Hello, my name is Guevara, and I will be analyzing the clip from Spa Night, where our main character helps his father out, then goes for a swim, which eventually leads to the thumbnail, or of the canopy link, of the short but well-acted scene of him staring at himself in the mirror. One theme discussed in an issue we saw in the lectures during class was with the term self-definition from the Do Not Think for a Moment slideshow. So the way that I define self-definition is by using the Merriam-Webster dictionary and analyzing that, which the way the Merriam-Webster dictionary analyzes it as is the evaluation by oneself of one's worth as an individual in distinction from one's interpersonal or social role, which I interpret it as learning to define yourself without abiding by what society deems to label you as. So I'm relating myself back to this term as well as in relation to this film through the framework of my own lens and self-discovery journey as a Filipino American. So the way this specific scene connects to me is seeing how our main character takes care of their father while also finding the time to go and do something that they somewhat enjoy, I would say. And in this situation, they go and appear to swim in a pool that they work at, and or a bathhouse. You could also label it as a bathhouse or a spa. I would probably a spa because it's spa night. Anyways, I can relate back to this in the sense of helping take care of my own father. So my father, he's not like the father in this movie, but he is old and he's starting to need help in getting things done. Like he's lost a step in him, so to say. And whenever I see him, I do have to help him since he is my dad. But I feel like that's a given. Anyways, I digress. Continuing on in the analysis of this film, I do see the parallels in figuring out who I am, not in the same actions or senses that our main character takes in this movie, but on my own personal journey in trying to discover myself in my own hobbies and simple and not so simple things that I can enjoy. So I can also somewhat relate to the main character in the movie due to him trying to help out his parents, figure it out, with it being life, while also at the same time trying to help himself in figuring it out, which is never a simple or easy thing to do, but sometimes it can be easy. Most of the time it isn't. But continuing on with the self-definition claim, for my own personal journey, I'll be somewhat vague but true to both myself and the film, that for myself, being in college the last couple of years of my life has been the most growth and journey I've seen in myself as a person, educationally, socially, individually, multiple things. My overall own character have changed for the better, I would say. Like imagining myself from 2 to 3 years ago graduating high school to who I am now as a person, I would say that some things haven't changed, like the way I tell jokes or the way I treat people, but how I look and feel physically about my own self and mentally, it's shifted to a more positive tone, which I come to appreciate a lot about. And it's always a positive in the journey of self-definition and self-discovery. And in the same sense of our main character from the movie, there are multiple scenes of him going to this very, I would say, heliocentric place in his life, which is the spa, because he works there, as well as discovering his own sexuality in a way. So we see him discover himself in a different way than traditional norms placed upon men. And by doing this, he is discovering his sexuality and his sexual awakening there, while at the same time trying to figure out how to live out his life normally and fighting the struggles of his sexual awakening while also trying to help out his family. Thank you for listening.